this morning because I really want to sort of dialogue a bit with our utility company. But just to bring the people of Samarkand up to speed with all that is going on, we are working diligently with all the aspects and the things that we spoke about earlier concerning the sewage water in the neighborhood, the garbage. That's one of our main objectives and priority that we are working on very hard. And very soon, we will be bringing forward the solution, or sort of working on a solution for District 5 and 6. I believe the contractors has collaborated with each other to solve that problem concerning the overflowing of bins and getting larger bins for specific areas in those two districts. And also concerning the car wrecks that we spoke about, and I know my good friend here asked me the question last week about my car wreck, and that will be dealt with very soon also. But when I make mention that I'm happy to see Mr. Roy Marlin here, because we spoke a few times concerning the role of GEBE in our society. And when it concerns the Ministry of Women, and we are looking at the entities that fall under the Ministry, or the Ministry of Women is partnering or responsible for, and GEBE is one of those entities also. And there's a burning issue that I have, and I spoke to Roy about it, and that is concerning all those GEBE houses that we see along the roads, those slab of grey concrete that GEBE just put down and have their meter box and stuff in it. There's grass growing in pipes coming out. It's just there looking plain, and for me it's ugly. I would like to see some paint on it. I would like to see the grass around it clean. I would like to see the pipes and stuff that is sticking out. Something to be done with it, because everywhere you turn in the districts, that's what you see throughout the whole island. You just see these concrete slabs put down. And I know I'll be having a discussion with them very soon. And that's one of the points that I intend to bring up. This time for us to beautify and make our place look nice. And these entities such as GEBE, I believe, have a role to play. Also concerning the area of KB, we know that heavy vehicular traffic passed through that area from Seoul and GEBE. And it's not to say that nothing had been done over the years, but I think the entity of GEBE can take a more community role in that area in terms of seeing what plans and ideas they can come up with concerning the running water in that area, concerning the road in that area. It's one road getting in, and there's one road getting out, besides going out through the other part of the property. You know what I'm talking about. But that road has been in the condition I've been for many years. I grew up in Cape Bay as a young boy, living in scatter apartments, to call them that. That's how we know them. And we haven't seen much change in that area in terms of having it looking nice again. So those are some of the discussions that I would like to have with GEBE. And also, I had a very interesting meeting, if I should call it, with the managers of the department heads down at the Vermont department, to use a term that we are so accustomed to using. It was fruitful. But a lot of ideas and a lot of things came about. Had a very good discussion also with Tom Chabon Company, highlighted a lot of ills in our society that needs to be taken seriously. But these are the things that we don't see. For example, a number of our sewage pits that is simply not working anymore, that needs to be replaced, that in a couple of months, if we should speak that way, would simply be useless. Yes, they would simply be useless because they have been there for a number of years. They need to be replaced, and that's another set of investment. Also concerning Phillipsburg and the road, why is it that way? Why is the bricks looking that way? Why is it not complete? Because it's not a matter of just taking out the bricks, putting that sand pattern and putting it back. No, the sewage pipes are not connected. So that's another sort of discussion that you need to have within that area, within the responsible individuals, because you want to do it one time, you want to do it correct, you want to do it responsibly. You just don't want to have it done, and then come 6 months down the line, you got to go back at it, pick it up again, and start to put it together. And I'm saying we need to start to prioritize what needs to be done. Phillipsburg needs to be done, in my opinion. It needs to be done correct. It needs to be done right one time. Not every minute, We have to go back, dig it up, replace the bricks. Go back, dig it up, replace the bricks. I think it's a discussion we also need to have with the Phillipsburg Community Council, if that's what the name is. In my opinion, bricks is not working. And I understand the whole beautification aspect of Phillipsburg and how you want to make it nice. But I could remember when I was a member of parliament, I would walk the street and you would see people in a wheelchair and they can't navigate through Phillipsburg because it's just not accessible, it's not friendly to people that have a disability. The Amsterdammers, I mean, yeah, how long have we been living with them? That's those green things along the side. I think they should be removed. I think all the pins sticking up out of the ground should be sawed off, cut down. I think we should make ramps for wheelchairs, for people with disabilities. To me, that is more beautification. That is being accessible. That's understanding the needs of visitors and Samaritans that live in this country and can enjoy what Phillipsburg look like. So in my opinion, it's a discussion I intend to have and also be forceful about it. Bricks are not working. In my opinion, it's not working. And if we want to talk, I believe the minister also showed a lot of ideas in Singapore, how it works, and many other different countries. You can put up asphalt, and you can have it blue, you can have it red, you can print bricks in it, you can have the same effect as it is right now. I mean, at some point in time, we need to look at different things in our society and say, we have been doing this for a very long time, and it's not working. Let's try a different approach. So those are some of the things.
Life is a journey, full of connections. You're in safe hands, even when life starts too soon. You don't have to miss a single beat. When a bad hair day makes you sad, just sharing can bring you joy and more to come. They take the plunge, turn fear into faith, while you capture those beautiful moments. In the game of life, it's family that counts. They'll be there even when you lose. We all have our moments of reflection and hope. And when you feel you're losing everything in life, we're there because there's more to come. When life starts too soon, you don't have to miss a single beat. We're here to connect you and share life. Telcel, when you want more.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Need a loan that's quick and easy. Island Finance. Up to 50,000, get us real easy. Island Finance. For education, yes. A renovation, that's no problem. Yes, it's true, that's not all. They're quick and friendly too. Island Finance. Appliances, vacations, even fix your car. You can depend on Island Finance.
Before I get into my presentation, I'd like to echo or sound off a bit on Minister Emmanuel's comment. Yesterday we had a Council of Ministers meeting. It took us probably a full 2.5 hours before we even got to start with the agenda. And why? because the ministers that were present took the time to explain a bit about what are some of the priorities they're working on, what are some of our concerns, because all of us have issues that cross that ministerial boundary. You know, during elections, or you always hear about how ministries operate as silos. Well, I'm very pleased to speak about the fact that I think we are breaking those walls down, and the Minister of Finance has been very clear. You know, there's many things that, you know, when you talk about it, government always did it this way. Well, why do we always do it that way? If it doesn't work, why do we continue to do it that way? That same philosophy goes to how Ministry of VSI is working. We are going department by department. We are not jumping into our 2017 plan yet. We are going through our 2016 plan and evaluating how did you perform against the budget that you were provided? What things did you accomplish? What things aren't working? How are we going to change them? So instead of just adopting the same plans that we had from the year before and just moving them forward to 2017, but really questioning what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how we can cooperate. Many of our discussions within our department head meetings have centered around, well, many of the issues are cross-ministerial. When we talk about youth unemployment, there's a justice aspect perhaps to it. There's, for example, one of the things we're talking about is there's a program that's together with the Dutch Marines, where they have a program that they'll work with youth and help to give them some structure, some stability, and some discipline. But actually, apparently, that might be something that falls under another ministry, so we need to figure out how those cooperate. Also, that means with education. So I'm very pleased to report that we are taking the time to really make sure that we're cooperating and setting our agenda for the next, not year, but for the next 4 years, and making sure that we all have our objectives clear and cooperating. And as the minister mentioned, you know, there are many things within the Ministry of Romy that impact the health of the population. And actually, technically, you're correct to refer to what we have as a dump, because if you look at the legal definition of what is a landfill, it is a managed dump. But there's many things within the dump that are not being managed. So technically, the correct term is a dump. So, but we're talking about, you know, how, if there are fires, what kinds of fire suppression techniques can we use to put the fires out quickly so it doesn't create health impacts for the community. District cleanup, as you know, we have an issue with Zika, dengue, chikungunya. I've noticed there's a couple, I think there was 2 cases of malaria now in Jamaica, right? There's disease within the Caribbean that are carried by different vectors, the worst of which is the mosquito. Actually, a very common Facebook post is actually one of the most lethal animals in the world. It's not elephants or tigers, or it's actually mosquitoes. So, you know, working on our district cleanup, because mosquitoes can breed in very small containers, and so all that garbage that people throw out their window ends up in the side of the road, ends up becoming mosquito breeding grounds. So everything we do is very much connected, as well as one of the main complaints that we hear is, and that's, I think, due to sort of a frustration within the community, is they call the Ministry of Health, but really it's a septic issue. They have issue with water from neighbors that's pooling and ponding around the house. It may not really be creating mosquitoes, but again, they're just desperate for attention to find a solution to those. And again, I'd just like to echo on what the minister spoke about, and that we are very much cooperating and working towards a long-term agenda to finally get many of the things that need to be done for the community done. 2 topics I'd like to discuss. One is the mediator. I've
Oh my, what an inventory list, and so unnecessary. But wait, your home contents are all insured by Be Sure. That means that you determine the amount you want to insure. No inventory list, no hassle.
Are you be sure? Be sure.
Bob, I can understand why you're parking so carefully. Of course, when you can get 80% discount on your Be Sure car insurance. But that's overdoing it, Bob.
Are you be sure? Be sure.
Yeah.
Just to add to what Mr. Chittick said, the customer care is very important for us in 2017, and I think that you will notice the various improvements that we are trying to put in there. Yesterday, for instance, we had an issue where the lines were extra long. You could see right away, management took steps. Ms. Iris Arundel, the CFO, took steps immediately to work on getting the problem solved. We were closed on Friday, so it was an exception where we were closed on Friday, and then there was some technical difficulties over there, but we immediately did what we could, and you could see that today the line is flowing a lot better. So it's the customers are important to us, and we are doing what we can do. Where we see improvements that we can put those, we are doing that. So I just wanted to reiterate what Mr. Chittick said, but everything that he mentioned, the whole management is on board, and that's why we are trying to get the workers, not only with this one session, it's not going to be a one-time thing. We already have other sessions planned for the workers, and there are at least it's 5 other sessions planned just for the month of January and February. 5 other sessions have already been planned, workshops, and getting the workers to execute better. So the public will notice a difference.
See the commercial department, which includes, of course, the cashiers and your billing, the response to customer complaints and all that. And as the CEO mentioned, 2017 is going to be the beginning of a change in GB, whereas more emphasis is going to be put on the way GB handles their client. But it's not 2007, it's 17 alone. It's 2017 moving forward. It's something that have to be continuous, that there is, that people who had to have any kind of interaction in the area of customer service with NVGB notice a difference, and that have to be a lasting difference. And of course, in the beginning, it is feeling your way through it, but GB want to benchmark a particular standard that a customer, when he walks in here, how he should leave this facility feeling as to the way he was treated. And we're putting everything on everything to start with that and continue with that as we move along. Because, as was mentioned, the customers is demanding a lot, and it's rightfully so, because we also are customers of GB, and we want to be treated in that same manner. Wherever we go, not only in GB, but like we're now have on the topic of GB, we would like to be treated in a particular manner, and I think all customers of GB want to be treated in that manner. So we look forward in rolling out this new approach to customer service, which we call now customer care, and having it implemented in GB to give improved service to all our clients.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
Well, first, let me say how very happy I am to be a part of this press conference. It is indeed a privilege to be a part of this historical moment. I myself am new to this side of the circuit of St. Martin after spending a few years on the other side. But we are all new, and it tells us something about our Methodist Church in terms of how we operate. And just before answering that question, I just want to say that it is important to know that we are, it was said before, but just to emphasize that those ministers, some of them especially who have worked here before, will come back. It speaks to the nature of our ministry. As Methodists, we believe that Paul plants, Apollos waters, and God gives the increase. So each of us have a contribution to make at a particular point. Well, in relation to men's work, you would have heard that there is a week of activities that is scheduled. We have an opening service, as was mentioned earlier, on the 19th of February. There's a free night on the Tuesday, and the Wednesday to Friday we have outreach. You asked about outreach earlier, and we are having 3 nights of outreach services, which we're hoping may be shared between Dutch and French side by the Reverend Patmore Henry. We're hoping to have him as our guest speaker, and that's someone who served here. Okay, who is very dynamic, one of our connectional officers. And then we would have a retreat on the Saturday, and we will seek to use that to address needs of the men based on the feedback from them. And finally, we'll have a closing rally at Phillipsburg. It has always been, I also work at the district level with men, and it has always been a challenge to work with men. As was said earlier, men can be seen just about everywhere except the church. And so it's an ongoing challenge to reach them. We have tried in various ways to strategize and to reach out to them, because men, it seems, unlike women, don't like to do sit-down activities. But it is important, though, to say that our men, even though some of our meetings, it's difficult to get them to some of the meetings, but they are very active within the church itself, yes. Especially when anything to do with the hands. You know, you can gather them together, whether it is outreaching in terms of painting the house of a shutting person, a sick person, or doing some other kind of ministry. On a district level, we have identified with various projects on the different islands or the different circuits in terms of, you know, doing hands-on outreach. We have made attempts to reach out to other islands when we could. We've been working on that, and so that's where we are. It's challenging, but we continue to work hard. I just want to point to a scripture here in relation to the decline that we see in the church. 2 Timothy chapter 3, if I could read a few verses. It says, "You must understand this, that in the last days distressing times will come, for people will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boasters, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, inhuman, implacable, slanderers, profligates, brutes, haters of good, treacherous, reckless, swollen with conceit, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God." And it appears as though the lovers of pleasure especially seem to be taking a greater hold of the men than the women, because if you look at the membership of our church, it's like 1 to 3, 1 man to every 3, approximately, if not more, men. So, but we still see a lot of men all around. So we continue to strive.